We're back.
Well, I don't listen. Put me in front of the piloting ship magazine, I'm like this.
But that's not
Okay, so you're-
everything. Or it's not,
There we go. There he is.
Jeremy's in large scale.
He's the only one that matters.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can, yes, yes. But
Great. Sorry to not be there in person today.
It's okay.
that's okay. I just would rather have him small and us big.
Oh.
No offense, Jeremy, but.
I understand. I can picture.
That's what- Kind of like Dr. Evil announcing his demands to the world.
Yeah,
There we go.
Forward.
That's cool.
Well,
Okay,
This is great. I can see you guys are all split into
I know.
like different little boxes. It's pretty cool.
Where is this?
Special.
Oh,
right, yeah.
Anyway, let's call this meeting to order.
Yes.
Everybody's busy and they have things to do. So roll call, we have let's go around the table.
Jerry Sayers, here.
Sarah Bullock here.
Karen Pleasant here,
Matt Abbey, present.
Margot Jones, chair. And,
Jeremy Ebersole virtually here.
right, so let's see. Can Karen be a full member tonight? I think so.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can go. Great,
Yay.
welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Approval of the July 3rd minutes.
And those edits that I will make, yeah. Yep, I'll,
Entertain a motion for approval. All those in favor?
Oh, that, well, I make the motion.
Okay, you make a motion, great. And somebody will second.
Seconded.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for as usual, high quality, very detailed minutes. Okay, under old business, first we have the Concord coach investigations. And Sarah was nice enough to print out facts, the coach facts that Tim had put together.
these are on the email from Tim, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Got it.
and the photographs were really beautiful. Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be nice to be able to trot that in a parade or something?
That'd be nice.
But so. I forget in his email, did he say he had,
I have his email right here.
okay, great. Do you want to report on this, Sarah, then?
He attacked a couple photos. He arranged for the president of the Hadley Farm Museum to visit the coach this last Monday, and he was impressed by its condition. He's putting together a contact list gleaned from his experience in reconditioning their coach, which is on exhibit. Tim says he'll get the list from this gentleman when he gets back. Apparently the guy said that the wheels of their coach were rebuilt by Amish carpenters in Pennsylvania, and that ours are not bad, but that the left rear wheel looks a bit askew. And Tim also mentioned that he found notes that said our coach's axle needs to be replaced, but didn't specify the front or the rear or what was wrong with it. And in person, their inspections on Monday, there were no obvious problems. He has feelers out in Concord, New Hampshire, but so far has gotten a little solid lead. But they have good connections with the DPW we've needed.
Well, I know that we talked about trying to get funding for a feasibility study from the Community Preservation Commission
The pre-application just went live today.
today. Sarah's our representative on that organization, on that board. So, and they're due by
September, I think the 17th. I can
17th,
get you a firm date, but it is gonna be September,
mid-September.
mid-September, yeah.
Do we have enough go on to ask for money?
A question. Tim mentioned in his latest email. Trying to, putting up feelers in Concord. But does not mention who that is, that we should talk to there.
I think he's talking to the actual coach people.
Yeah, because there is actually, and I put a link to it in an email that I sent, that the Evan Downing there's a historical society that does just
I
that.
believe that those are the folks that Tim was in contact with.
Yeah, thank you.
It's like they have coaches that you can get for an event.
Yeah, so
So they are
was-
maintaining coaches and they are clearly repairing them as needed, so.
Yeah, Tim did have contact information of a couple of those guys that were part of that exact society.
Because they actually have coaches in service, that kind of seems like the guys we should keep getting to.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Right now, we're looking for a feasibility study on the repairs, so if we find somebody to formally conduct that estimate and then find out how much it's gonna cost them to do the estimate, that should be enough, but we'd also, the thing is that the CPC wants to know, like, why?
Right.
Why, how, and if, for instance, we have like a $50,000 project. What if they'll give us 40,000? How are we gonna get the rest of, they wanna know that we have alternatives. We score higher if we have other sources of income, which could include things like limited stands and bake sales. They're not really particular on where, that's what we know. Like, we have a lot of options available to us. It doesn't have to be this big grant kind of a thing. It could just literally be like, hey, we're having a historical convention, pay $5 and smush a pie in the mayor's face or something. I don't know. Just,
Yeah,
it could be
so
something.
we don't have a source of income.
Correct.
And, you know, I guess, where does this fall in the priorities, within the priorities of the historical commission? Is it at the top, or is it sort of middle grade? I know that Mayor's assistant,
Oh, Aaron.
Aaron certainly thought it would be a feel-good kind of project. So we'd probably get the mayor's support.
I agree. I don't think it's, if we can get a pre-application going and we can at least. We can see how the CPC reacts to it, and then we could always withdraw.
Yeah.
We could always be asked to come back another year. It doesn't hurt us to try.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was about to say, like, just put an application in and see what sort of feedback they give us, so then, if it doesn't get through, then we have the feedback to make the next application better, so then we can be prepared.
Then we will also have time before the next meeting to get our ducks in a row, finalize our application together as a group, and then submit it to the CPC. So we have another month.
Yeah.
To really make a plan. We could also call an executive session and just be like, hey, you guys, I wanna, that's entirely the realm of possibility, but that's if we can't figure out, who, which avenue is best, I would assume.
Right. I mean, are we asking for a consultant to give us? I think we are doing a feasibility study whereby we get some experts to tell us how much it would cost.
Right, and so.
That's
Exactly what needs to be done.
That's like SEMA.
We could be asking for their rate to do that.
Yeah.
To come out and do the study.
Right. And also somehow we have to figure out where it's gonna go. That's the harder question.
Well, how much it's going to cost in repairs could help us decide where it's gonna go, because if the damage is extensive and it's gonna cost a bunch of money, then obviously having a home for it falls higher on our list of priorities, because the damage is only gonna become more extensive as far as dollar value. If time goes on, it's allowed to deteriorate. So if it's not that bad, then we can kind of kick the can a little bit on when you pull the trigger on finding a new home for it.
But we could put that in the scope.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's also the question of, are we hoping to restore it for preservation or for use? If we're gonna hermetically seal it, that's one thing. If we're going to just need a garage base somewhere, that's a different thing.
Right. I think
So I think we need to have a clear goal, and that's what I would like. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous thing. It should get use.
Yeah.
According to Tim.
And mothballing it isn't doing anybody any favors.
And Sarah, that, it sounds like it sort of goes to your question, what is the purpose of asking for the money, not just a feasibility study, but then what is the long-term goal with this particular project?
Well, and those kinds of questions are on the application, the pre-application, they're gonna ask you, where are you getting your funding? Why do you wanna do this project? What are you gonna do if you don't get this money? And that's gonna be a big one, because if we can say, if we don't get this money, we're not gonna do the project. we're gonna score lower, but that doesn't eliminate us from consideration. You know, and especially if they only ask for like, $2,000, it's not compared to like the $250,000 total budget, it's kind of like chump change, like.
Right.
Which I'm not gonna say it's gonna get funded because it's so small, but it puts us like, okay, sure, we'll put some $2,000 for that, and then we'll give the $50,000 big fish. There, it's entirely, it's not subjective, but there are reasons to make decisions and reasons not to make decisions.
Yep. I would imagine we're in the $5,000 range.
Yeah.
I could get
Will
somebody
they
to-
fund
yeah.
feasibility studies? I mean,
Well, let me look.
does it need to be bricks and
because
mortar to
that's-
qualify for the funding?
I don't think so, because the housing commission, one of the new houses they're building, I think on Conway Street or something like that. They had a study done to survey the ground. And the CPC paid for that study.
Okay. I think, yeah, that's important to
Yeah,
make sure we know it's within the realm of.
Oh, that's a valid question.
yeah.
Reactivation.
Yeah, I also don't know what they're used to. I mean, do people usually come in with a proposal to like restore a fort in Boston Harbor? Or, I don't know the scope they usually deal with. I don't know if this would be small potatoes or large potatoes to them.
The CPC?
Yes.
Yeah, it depends, because some of there are a few members who are like, just don't preserve it just because it's old. Why do you? It really depends.
No, we don't want to do that. We want to preserve it because it's cool.
Because it's significant, that's.
Oh, that's right.
That was like,
Like that. That's
that was a
right.
key word. Talking about the Zion Church was significance.
Right. We need those buzzwords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Significance. While Sarah's looking that up too, and these notes from Tim, there's one here about 1999, about the Agricultural Society donating money to restore the coach. And this note here, I don't know what the source is, at that time, the town established an account for money donated for that purpose. So I'm wondering, is that money still
there?
Yeah, it's still there, where is it?
And how much interest is
Yeah,
it?
I mean, what's the interest rate on that account?
Yeah, it's open funds for other people to donate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, are we sitting on, $1 million? Because there was,
Kind of doubt it.
got invested in the S&P 500 and they bought low and sold high, or
The town established an account, so.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like,
Yeah, but no further mention after that of anyone spending that money.
Yeah, so I think we need a subgroup to
sorry.
let's do this. And who wants to volunteer? I mean, I think 2 or 3 people could find out the best consultant, come up with a fee, and put a little proposal together.
Well, we had already done that.
I would ask you.
Yeah.
to do it, and you and Tim.
Yeah.
This is Aaron. He's the gentleman with the collection of documents from the master plan in 2016, I think he said.
No, this is from 2020. What did it? Spring of 24.
Oh, wow.
The Homeland School
Yeah.
drafted some proposed updates to 2 chapters of the plan.
That's very cool.
So,
So cool.
yeah,
Can we finish our,
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
and then, do we have him on the agenda? No.
No,
No.
this all happened last night. Very
Okay,
soon.
right. Let's just finish this one little thing that we're talking about, and then we'll
Yeah.
let you.
We're like five
Right,
minutes.
right. Can we volunteer Tim?
Yes.
I think he's volunteering.
Have a seat, have a seat.
Were you not at the last meeting or the one before that?
The one before it was.
That was the meeting when we sat down and said, okay, I'll be on this committee.
Okay.
Yeah, was it
Yeah.
Tim and Doug? I was at that meeting.
Yeah, Tim was chairing it, and I think that's when but didn't we come up with a group, a sub?
Yeah, we came up with, it was me
Yeah.
and Doug and
I think I was on.
you and I think Tim.
Okay,
On it. He's
Okay.
already on it. We already volunteered.
yeah, all right, so we've got a subcommittee, and you guys will run with it and bring us a proposal for some time. because then
From
I'm free, yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah. That, okay with everybody?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, we'll break for a minute and just, hello, Aaron and Margot.
And Aaron,
And Sarah invited you.
Yeah, you had compiled a list of documents from when they were trying to redo some chapters of the master plan in the winter of 2024. Correct?
Um,
2024.
right, spring of 24.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, not exactly a list of documents. I don't know if any of you were there, but as part of this process, so I and two other students at the Conway School, drafted updates, proposed updates to the master plan. And as part of the process, we had a community engagement session at the Johns Center that was fairly well attended. I think there were about 80 people there. And we shared some of what we had been thinking. We gathered a lot of feedback. And one of the things that we asked people to do was to contribute to this timeline. So this timeline, I won't unroll all of it here, but it starts out, I think the first tick mark on it, that was partially a matter of practicality and partially, to be provocative. It starts out in colonial times or pre-colonial times. We knew that it would have to go before that, but we wanted something that would function in the session. And so then it goes through to, I think, 1800, 1900, 2000, something like that. And then on into 2050, goes into the future a bit. And we just asked people to share their memories of or aspirations for city. And I thought it was a really neat thing as somebody who's not from here and who was just getting to know the area. I thought it was really neat to see everybody's thoughts. And so I've been keeping it. I didn't want to throw it away, but I also don't have anywhere for it myself. So I reached out, and Sarah reached out to me, and I would love to convey it to you all for future interest if anybody has any.
I think that would be super cool.
Did you try Eric Torb in the planning department?
I did not try him. We worked with him for this project.
Yeah. So he might have a copy?
That's why I thought maybe we would take hold of it and then
Okay.
we could give copies of it to interested people. Like the library might want a copy of it, maybe the historical society would want a copy of it. I think being part of the commission would be, that's kind of our responsibility, is to give this information to people who could really benefit from that.
We have like a file cabinet that Eric keeps. Beyond that, we don't really have an archive.
No, and then part of it would be for use in the next copy of the conservative room. Was my thought,
Okay,
and that we would keep it safe.
all right. You can put it in the file cabinet.
Well, the Historical Society is a library.
Exactly, and I figured if we would start here and then we'd find a good municipal place for it. Because honestly, the information is gonna be super interesting to people like 100 years from now.
Yeah,
That was my thought and hope, kind of. I also have a copy of the work that we did. I think the team that we worked with, Eric, Nancy, and Mary, and
Mary Chacon.
Mary Chacon and Joan and Keen, they might also have one or two copies. But I have an extra one. This was our original draft. The ones that we gave out had
Oh, that's so cool.
corrected margins. In this one, the margins are on the wrong side on the left. And maybe one or two other little changes. But
It's the resilience plan that got updated.
I don't know if this ever made it into anything, but this is the work that we did. I haven't followed up at all. I don't know.
Okay, well,
I do think documenting it is important. You know, we can start from there and then we'll find a forever home. We'll find a forever home, not in a dusty file cabinet. But yeah, thank you so much for coming in. Honestly, going out of your way I appreciate it a lot. So
Thank you for inviting me.
yeah, anytime. Honestly, like I don't know where you're headed to, but if you find us, we're on Zoom. You can keep tabs on Greenfield that way. So, and best of luck on your next adventure.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Sarah's gonna read it fully tonight.
Oh, yeah, all right.
And we're all gonna get an annotated bibliography.
Okay. So next item officially on the agenda is, well, we should wait for Sarah to come back.
I didn't even do the math on that account, but it's like it was taken on a commission before they established that account, then they established the account. They restore it and then radio silence.
And
Mhm.
I wonder what did happen to it.
Well, it could possibly still be there.
Yeah,
I'm on the tree committee, and the tree committee found some money that Berkshire Gas had given to the town in compensation for a lot of trees they tore down, to put in gas lines, and it was just sitting there. Nobody was using it. So,
in my experience, the world's full of random checks that got thrown in a drawer.
yeah, yeah.
well, yeah, or pocket change you didn't think you had, or
Yeah.
finding freaking dollar bills all over the place.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting for Sarah to come back, demolition delay ordinance update. Has anything been done, Jeremy?
No, I feel bad that that continues to be my answer every time. It may or may not be worth. It's not dead. It is still in my mind, and we've started to do. But I've just been so busy, and I have now taken on a little extra paid work for the fall. So
When does that start?
I'm working for we're doing some work with the Vermont Tree Fruit Growers Association on the side for the fall, doing some communication stuff, and then potentially I'll be on if folks don't know, I'm running for Board of Assessors, and that would, if I'm elected, would start in January. So anyway, it's not, I don't think I will get much progress on the demolition delay until towards the end of the year. If then, so it is still on my mind. I still think it's a valuable thing to do. I just know that there's no way I'm going to be able to carve out the time personally until at least November to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I know we started it months and months ago.
Well, and then there's some other developments statewide, aren't there? That they were gonna change the,
Yeah, we talked about it at the last meeting briefly. It seems like I haven't heard any more murmurings about either of the various bills that were going through. The thing from the AIA that I mentioned that would kind of change what powers, it was going to make all demolition delays across the state follow a certain rubric. But that sounds like from the conversations that you had, Margot, I mean, it's dead. Nobody's heard anything about it. So I think that's a non-starter. There was another bill that wouldn't have affected demolition delays, but would have affected historic district commissions. And that one also seems to have lost any traction because the listservs where I've heard about all this, other preservation commissions, nothing's been said about any of them for over a month. So I don't think we have anything to worry about there, but it is just keep in our minds that we historic commission and our historic district commission specifically are in the crosshairs for bills that keep coming up here and there. So who knows if they'll come up again,
Yeah.
but
yeah, so it might not be worth becoming a historic district. City, whatever that's called.
yeah, I mean, as of now,
gonna
it
be
seems
taken
like
away.
any changes, I think any changes would require some big movements, but there are those who would like historic district commissions to have less influence than they do. Whether they'll ever gain any traction, I don't know.
All right, well, why don't we put this under ongoing? I made a new category.
I see
ongoing.
that.
That sounds,
We'll file it there, where we do have the historic district study subcommittee sitting, waiting for.
Biding our time.
motion. Right. Who knows? Okay, and we skipped over the historic database version 1.
The only update is that we released version 1 to Eric and Mark Snow. His name is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the building inspector.
And
Yeah.
I asked them for feedback and I got a bunch of crickets. So I think they said it was good information and then I was like, cool, let me know if there's any feedback and then I haven't heard anything, so.
Well, Jeremy and I are the recipients of demolition permits, applications. And so far, they're not cross-referenced.
Well, hey,
So I'm gonna encourage the cross-reference. I'm gonna say, did you look at the database?
good.
See if they say yes, because. Anyway, but so far I'm not sure it's gotten traction, so we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't jump to anything. I mean, my limited exposure to that office over there, which is as a guy who owns a house and just finished building a new bathroom for my wife. is They are a wonderful group of people who are conscientious and easy to work with and everything, but swamped.
Yeah, right. Yep, they are. Right, okay,
Oh,
but at least they've got it,
yes.
and if there are any questions, they should contact you.
Yes, yep.
And maybe you could, have you given Mark a demonstration of how to use it?
No, but nobody's reached out to me.
Nobody's what?
Nobody's reached out to me.
Yeah,
I assume that if they had questions, they would have asked, but I could.
because there's
I
a
can-
column for property card.
I can,
right?
yes, yep.
And address.
Mhm.
So it should be pretty obvious. But maybe
But
it's not.
maybe we should, I'll send an email out and just double check with them.
Okay, great. All right, well, that's that. And again, thank you, Sarah, for putting that together. Yeoman effort.
The date is September 17th for the CPC, by the way. I just pulled it.
Okay, yeah, so, and our September meeting is. See,
That's Labor Day.
Yeah.
I've been working.
Labor Day is the 1st, I believe. Isn't it? Yeah, Labor Day,
Mhm.
yep, so the 4th, so we can either have a proposal to submit or not.
Or not.
Okay, so that was old business, new business. Here's a good one, the building inspector, emailed us and said that demolition was taking place at 75 Washington Street without authorization. 77, yeah, 77. And in fact, when I looked it up, it is in a historic district. It's in the Washington Street, Deerfield Street district, I think it is, yeah. So and whether it was contributing or not, I forget.
I don't think that's a national register district.
It's not a national register, so it doesn't, yeah, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I went by and looked at it, and I think Jeremy did too. And by that, I mean, it was in rough
Oh, is that the
shape.
one that was like half a house that you sent emails of?
No, I have pictures. It's one of those little workers' cottages, and it's sort of up on the hill. Yeah, maybe you get a picture of it. Anyway, it was in very, very bad shape. They demolished half of it. We would have had to say, put it back together. And that would have been unlikely to be done, but, I noticed no further work's gone on there, so there is a penalty for what they did. I don't know what it is, but that was not following legal procedures, so that's too bad. I mean, Jeremy, do you want to add anything? Or subtract?
I don't think so. Yeah, as you said, I mean, they didn't follow the rules. The building, they knew they didn't follow the rules. I think if it was a building that there was some indication that there was some special significance to it, there could have been further action, but it's just, we don't want to create a world, of course, where you can just break the rules and then skirt the whole process and get slapped with a couple $100 or whatever. And there's really, if it had come to us, I think we would have, we would have allowed the demolition anyway for this particular building. So it's just, it happens. I know in the world too often, people don't know they need a permit to demolish things, or they do and they don't care.
Yeah.
It's hard to
mean,
know.
Usually they do know they need a
It's
permit.
usually a conscious decision that we're gonna go ahead and do it, and if necessary, pay a fine.
Yeah. However, I know that it's unclear exactly what our powers are, but I asked Mark if he had what were they gonna replace it with?
Right.
And that felt to me like part of our purview. If there is a historic district and they're gonna do a demolition, then we ought to be able to comment on whether what they replace it with is appropriate or not. And it's been radio silence on that matter. So I think I'll pursue it a little more. But again, this is one where I know you have trouble in Washington Street.
The Deerfield Street area is, it's a lot of that data is bad data. Some of the
Yeah.
buildings that say that they exist don't exist. So that whole area is rife with errors.
Mhm.
It's gonna take some digging to get through that.
But it was on Macris. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, the address was on Macris as part of the historic district, but there was no
Yes.
single property form for it. So, do you know what Macris is?
I do.
Okay,
Yep, I've looked at it.
yeah. We're very lucky to live in a state that's
Mm-hmm.
that well organized. Anyway, so there's nothing, I don't think we need to take a vote on any of this. This is just for information. But we did allow the demolition sadly, but we also want to comment on what's going to be replaced.
Well, and that's also a different ballgame, like they will often make the conscious decision and just go ahead and trash something and pay whatever fine comes up. But to make the next decision and say, I'm gonna build whatever I feel like, then you're looking at ongoing fines that recur. And people aren't quick to make that decision. So it
But
would be nice.
we actually technically have no review power.
Right.
For new construction. At least I don't think we do.
Right.
I wish we did, but that's what we would have if we were a local historic district.
Right.
Right.
Right,
And
yeah,
if that were a local historic district, which it wouldn't have been. I mean, it's a consistent historic district of workers' housing. But it doesn't elevate itself to a national register
right.
significance.
I mean, I'd like to think though, on some level that we can at least say like, yeah, you demolished it when you shouldn't have, and we didn't say anything then. So now we'd like to have a conversation.
Yeah, I could, right, part of the deal.
But it also just makes it, at least we're coming across as negotiating in good faith. That's how we're approaching it. Whether or not they are is a different thing.
Mm,
I would say, we're willing to work this out. We're willing to, negotiate here, but it's a vain hope that that people will be reasonable.
right. Okay, so that's that item. I don't think, there was another garage attached to a house on Petty Plain Road that just came through and was a historic building and it's fine. Yeah. So that's what's going on in the demolition requests. And then the next order of business and under new business is regarding a conservative rebel.
So. I've been digitizing the conservative rebel. And I got the okay from the mayor and from the city solicitors to sell the digital copies. And the historical commission can use the revenue. So, once I publish those, the finance guy was gonna be here to basically give us the rundown on how, but I don't think that he remembered today. So we will find out more about how we're gonna be able to do that, but then hopefully we can put out like a press release or something in the paper, and then we can garner some interest and have a little bit of spending money for like printing documents and some small chunk change stuff, maybe some signs. Like a strongly worded, you should have demolished this sign when, yeah. But I don't expect it to be a lot of income, but the fact that we'll have an account and we can bring in income on our own is significant enough, but.
And the finance director said we could do that.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then, well, just like in my mind, maybe not just this document, but that just opens opens the door to, just to know that we can raise revenue
Yeah,
and have actually have something that the historical commission can.
obviously we'll have to like run it by the city, like.
Yeah, there will be a process or whatever, but it's good to know, because then, now in the future, that'll be useful for things like, hey, funding a feasibility study for.
Right.
Right, we have
Or
multiple things that
whatever, yeah, whatever other historic preservation we choose to kind of put money towards.
Or even things like, when I was looking at the carriages, I came across somewhere up in New Hampshire that have this nice little book on the coaches. So like $5 and like $10 shipping.
Well, we should sell merch.
I'll probably get one anyway, because I'm the kind of person who wants a book like that.
Yeah.
But
Well, part of the reason I did it was because you go on eBay or like AbeBooks or Amazon. You can get physical copies, but they're at least $50 to $200 depending, and the older that they get, it's gonna deteriorate, and the library's got like 5 copies. But again, the handling of those books, it's gonna deteriorate over time, and this, I'm gonna have a digital, like a PDF, a searchable PDF with chapters and everything like that, but also an EPUB version, which will be good for e-readers, Kindles, things like that. So people who, have disabilities and need, assisted reading devices and that kind of stuff will have access to it. And it'll be searchable on PDFs. People can take notes and that kind of thing. That was, for me, it was the accessibility. And so in addition to selling it on our website, on the city's page, we're also going to be giving a copy of each of those versions to the library to issue out as they please. So that.
Yeah, so they'll get a free copy.
They'll get a free copy so that they can check it out like a regular book if they wanted to.
Right.
And then we'll sell digital copies. I don't even know how we're gonna price it.
Yeah.
But I had initially thought maybe like each of them would be like $10 and then like a bundle would be like 15. But that's because they're old books published in the 80s by the city. It's not like there's a third, like, I don't really know who's gonna set that, but that was my thought. But yeah, by and large, that's been the project that I've been kind of working on for the last couple of weeks to try and make sure that that happened, and I've been keeping it a secret from everybody except for Marco. So.
I think you ought to have a conversation with the library.
I did,
You did?
I did.
Oh,
Anna's on board. Anna's on board.
Anna's on board. They'll have what they want
Yep.
and we're free to
Everything's good.
be capitalistic about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
should we, give like a free copy to the Historical Society, to the Industrial Heritage guys?
Well, the Industrial Heritage guys, I'm gonna give copies because I used their equipment to get the scans of the book.
Oh,
Okay, so you, just so I can catch up here, you had a physical copy of the book.
Yeah.
That has now been digitized.
Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
And so I've got all the scans.
because it's out of print.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now.
Yeah, and you can't buy new ones.
Well,
Okay.
and then not only that, but I think if the city were to go ahead, we could work with the copycat printer, whoever like local that they choose. To get physical copies remade at a specialty purchase, like that's always something that we could do too, like
Has it,
maybe 50th anniversary or like whatever,
has it been digitized or scanned?
both. So guys, I'm working on, I haven't quite finished both versions of it yet, but I'm turning the scans. Running them through the reader and going through it and correcting all the mistakes, and we're gonna double,
OFC.
I'm gonna take the OFC and then turn that into an EPUB, and I'm gonna go through and, you know, comment, this picture shows blah, 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 because that was somebody who is,
CR, sorry.
yeah. And, well, that way, whoever, you know, if somebody needs to see it or they're listening to it, they can, oh, this picture shows the street in 1887 after a snowstorm, and they don't have to look at the page or see it. It's gonna be more accessible to people who, you know, maybe have kids or like don't have time to sit down and read a whole book like me because I have a 50-pound pit bull in my lap at all times, and doing things at home is impossible. That was for me. I started doing it because it was more accessible to me to have it digitally than to have it physically in person. And I was like, you know what, we should just do this for everyone. And figuring if the historical commission can have that tiny source of funding, even if it just peaks and kind of fiddles out, it'll give us enough money to put a little bit back into the community through historic preservation, maybe like acquiring paperwork or like making signs and being like, hey, this is a historic downtown. Like we could do whatever we want with it. And obviously that's something to a vote, but we have a little bit of money that we can do stuff with, was my thought.
Jeremy, you had a question?
I just, maybe I missed it. Was the city the publisher? Who's the publisher
It was published by the city
by this? Okay, got it. Okay.
in 1982.
Then-
Yep. So that's why I ended up having to
Okay.
go through the city solicitor to get the okay. To
Okay,
even
perfect.
digitize
Very good. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was thinking, but I missed that part. Got it. That makes
And
sense.
that's why it didn't get republished. And at $50 a pop,
Like minimum, yeah.
that would indicate there's a market for this book.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
more copies end up in private collections, the harder it is to find actual physical copies. You know, there's a lot of them in like, well, there's a lot of it that I find in the States that the one I have is, you know, like Dear Richard, with love, mother, you know, that kind of stuff. It literally says with love, mother. And I was like, mother? It was for your 64th birthday. I'm like, he was 64 in 1982 when this was published.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes, yeah. And so like this was a gift from his mother dash mother. I'm like, oh no. All right. And what kind of relationship do you guys have? But that's with love, mother. Okay.
Okay,
Um,
but that's not the version you digitized.
I would have removed anything from it like that. But I will also be including a page that references, you know, this was digitized 2025 by the Historical Commission on behalf of the city, and, you know, using equipment from the Industrial Heritage Museum, making sure everyone kind of gets their credit where it's due. And so,
Including you.
oh, well, I'm including myself in the commission, you know, because it's the thing is, it's like, if we're gonna be, we would be the arm of the city to handle that kind of information because it's a municipal book, you know,
Yeah.
done by the municipal wing when they had money back in the day to publish studies like this. The author, actually, if anybody's interested, is still alive. He teaches, I think he's a professor emeritus at Amherst College of Poetry.
Oh.
So,
Really?
I believe so. I think he's still alive.
But he's taught poetry,
He teaches poetry.
history.
He teaches poetry. He's
What's his name again?
Paul Jenkins.
Jenkins.
He's an author. He's not a historian.
Right,
So,
yeah.
and like that was part of the reason why I jumped on this, was because if the historical commission at any point is going to help preserve this book and then maybe publish a new book, especially where the country right now is at such a tumultuous kind of crossroads, then this information, even if we don't keep it, is important for us to have and to know about, and to know how people really feel about where the places, you know, where we live is going and how we can best serve the community to preserve things in the future, was kind of my thought. So.
And there's also like the 4-volume history of Greenfield.
Yeah,
that-
yeah, which is dry as.
Oh, yes, those things always are. Every
Right.
town in New
Yeah.
England has one of those.
Right.
But, and that's the thing too, I also suggested. That the city clerks, remember how, I don't know if we were involved with that, but they applied for book rebindings for some of the
Yeah,
libraries downstairs.
Right.
I suggested that they submit a CPC application to get digitizing equipment on their own. Because then they could use volunteer hours to digitize some of those desperately needed records.
Yeah.
And then we could use revenue from books like that, if they're city owned, and we could publish those. And this all stems from like, one of the things that I see the historical commission is responsible for is education. And we've kind of been a reactionary body up until. And we've kind of been a reactionary body. And, you know, this I think will help us kind of gain a new audience, especially where. like I said before, we're at kind of this crossroads that I think personally, understanding where we've been really will help us, even just the, the few of us that are in the room here, to really enable the thought process of preservation versus, do we want to fight for this? Why do we want to fight for that? It's just gonna hopefully inform more of the populace about why we are a community together. Then we'll see.
Also, the added bonus to digitize the meeting is once it's digitized, it can then be searched, it can be cross-referenced, and all that is
Exactly.
really easy.
I really don't think that conservative rebel should be a primary source, but it is. But it's a compilation of itself.
Anything that could be added to that body of work also is, it can be cross-referenced, it can be searched, all that, you get that huge bonus.
Exactly.
That's actually a really big deal.
I'm hoping that this will be helpful to a lot of people, and it starts with us publishing it, in like 10, 15 bucks at a time will be fantastic, because all the paper that we use and stuff like that, it's like, you never know what we're gonna need and what will be helpful. So,
Yeah.
especially where we're trying to garner our reputation more positively, as opposed to being perceived as like this obstructionist body, where we can actually put ourselves out there by having a little bit of signage on Main Street, little plastic signs with little sticks, but nonetheless, nothing expensive and extravagant, but anyway, I can go on forever, that's why I'm ready.
David has wanted to do that
Yeah,
a long time, and not plastic signs, he wants to do real.
real metal signs.
Yeah.
We could start,
We have some
yeah,
buildings, and
Well, and also, if we can throw a little money at the county fair, so our name gets on the program, so just so that we're out there a little bit more.
yeah, true story.
So that people go to the fair, see our name and think a little bit better of us, if they happen to think about us at all.
Yeah, one of the things I hear most often, having done the whole running for city council thing, is like, there's a lot of confusion about who to talk to within the city, and like the reputation that we have as anti-progress is not helping. And people are gonna wanna stay away, so if we can just show that we're not this secretive,
Far
hooded
progress
body.
has gotten us.
Like, but at the end of the day, we're all people, and we're all trying to do the right thing by our own measure. It's one of those things where it's like, if we can humanize the commission and not be this mysterious force, people may actually come to us that didn't know that we even existed before. So, but anyway, I can go on forever. That's why I'm running for city council, but I can talk, so.
And what is the timeline for you having this all digitized? Is
So I can
actually
read it.
available? Oh, there's that. But I was thinking about something else.
I'm almost done with the first copy, and then the thing is, like, I've got a couple pages that the black and white images, the scanner thought those were horrific. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna correct those pages, and then after that, it should be a simple process of running it through a text reader and then just kind of going through and verifying everything, so it should be next week or two.
Oh, wow, that fast. I was thinking like. maybe a few months,
Oh, no, I actually have it right here on my computer, I can totally give you what I have, but no, it should be a couple weeks, I don't wanna wait too long, because if you wait, then people forget.
Right.
I was hoping that the finance guy, he said he was gonna be here. I went and I opened his office door and I knocked and was like, hello, I'm from the historical commission. And he was like, what are you doing here? He's a very nice guy. But when I went and talked to him, he said he was gonna be here, and because I brought up, I was like, cool, you said that we could, but you didn't tell us how. So that's gonna be something that I'm gonna be poking and prodding a little bit over the next I'll probably send an email out tomorrow, and then if I don't hear back from one, I'm gonna start getting on them, because it'll be great if we have digital copies, but it would be worse if we have them and then can't do anything with them.
right,
Right.
and where do we let people know that they fit?
The city has a new social media manager, so we can tell people on Facebook, and we could also get a press release made, and
Yeah.
we could have Anthony write something about it in the paper.
Uh-huh.
And we could. And if you'll do that, I think we might have to publish it, it might cost money, but maybe it will give us a little bit of a ball for that, but ultimately.
I would think that'd be public interest,
Mhm.
Yeah, so definitely the Facebook thing would be huge.
So Sarah, you're exempt from working on the Concord coach.
Yeah.
Committee, because you are busy.
I think you have a lot. going on.
And it's really exciting that you're doing that.
Yeah, it's great. Just one of the marketing things I was thinking about, since we're in America 250, like somehow doing a local bent on, the America is celebrating a huge birthday and for the next, I just looked it up. It's now until technically the official celebration of America 250 started Memorial Day until next 4th of July.
Oh, so we're right on schedule.
We're right in there. So I don't know. I don't know if there's anything, just if the town's gonna promote anything, but certainly there could be something connected there.
There's not enough history celebration in the town, I will say. Like, I'll go down to like Hadley and, they've got signs. I took pictures of the signs to find out who the vendor was and everything. This is a local historic site, blah, 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 QR code, find out more here.
Oh, wow.
And those things would be neat, especially if we have the macros database and the spreadsheet that we can use to sort of, that's obviously a huge, massive project that's thinking long term, but the more of our presence that we have as a municipal body, the stronger I think that we will become, and we'll have more influence, and we'll be able to protect more things and then do more things that will help the future. Whatever it looks like, how we got to that point. So anyway.
Yep.
This sounds like an amazing start, just to have people learn more about where they live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I don't even know where to begin to have a sequel made, but it was made in 1982. And it's so funny because a lot of the things they talk about are, there's economic turmoil and Greenfield. It's always been this kind of like a weird purple as far as like the political demographic, and it's still true today.
Yeah.
And so even though it's over 50 years old, I think that people will find community that I think we sorely need right now. So I think it's part of the push for that Concord coach was to have like a rallying point for this, for the area, but hopefully it'll be good.
Great. Okay, well, that's it for the agenda. Any other items?
I do wanna make sure we just don't forget about GTD plant number 2. Because there hasn't been a ton of activity there, as far as I know. I think they did some environmental cleanup. They had the auction of all the equipment that was remaining in the plant today, and pretty soon the building will be going up for sale. So we'll just want to keep an eye on whoever is purchasing that.
Sanderson Street.
Yeah, Sanderson Street. So we just want to make sure that, if any demolition happens there, that we are well aware of that. I'm trying my best to keep tabs on it and keep in contact with folks that, that are still working there. So, yeah, just.
There are some people.
Just management at this point in time. So I just want to make sure we don't forget about that.
The building itself has been pretty much ruined. Its original architecture.
Yeah, I think it's still, it was an operating machine shop until April, so I think it's still value. And
It's historically.
Yes. Very so. Yeah, even if the architecture has been slightly modified over the years, but I think that's just I think that stands true to industrial architecture anyways. They're always tacking stuff on and modifying stuff, and one guy painting over the last guy's work, and
Windows.
yeah,
They're
but
insanely interesting.
it's a very cool building, like all those old mill buildings, kind of like a little bit of
Stratigraphic.
yeah, you kind of see you can kind of see the evolution over the years, and
Really
things walled off and doorways made, and you kind of wonder what was there before. And so but just something, like I said, no huge developments right now as to who the future owners may be, but just want to make sure that it's not forgotten about, just in case demolition does become an option for future.
Yeah. I have heard that there are several other potential RFPs coming out for not just the Sanderson Street, but I've heard that the Green River School, which I think is historic, will have an RFP, and I've heard that there's rumors going around that the bank on Bay Road, and it probably has some.
Yeah, but this is privately owned building, so there's no RFP process,
Oh,
like, it's just gonna be a
yeah.
it's just gonna be a private sale to.
Is it, I didn't know if the city was gonna take possession of it.
No, no, Kennebec just owns it, unless they plan to just abandon it, but I think they're gonna try to, as far as I know, they're gonna try to sell it, so.
Oh, that's almost too bad.
Yeah, I make a motion to adjourn.
So,
Yeah,
Bill,
make a motion to adjourn, yeah.
adjourn. We have a
I'll
second.
second.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.